Hi. Thought I'd pop on again, and so I mentioned two parts of my story, but I wanted to go a bit more in depth with scoliosis, tell you what it is and what my experiences have been with it over the last, God, how long's it been? 20 years? Bloody hell. That makes me feel old. 20, I think, did I say 20 years? It's been about 20 years, or yeah, about 20 years since my operation. Longer since the scoliosis first started. So yeah, this is what the video's about. Because I feel like this might help people. Maybe I know that things have changed slightly with the medical side of things since I had my operation, but I wanted to explain a few things because I feel like sometimes this isn't talked about enough, that people don't really talk about it. They don't get the full side of the picture sometimes with the doctors and stuff like that. And I just wanted to share that. I wanted to share my experiences because I know that it will help somebody else. I was 11 when I was walking back up. I used to live right at the top of a hill, basically. And I had to walk up and down this hill because the bus stop was at the bottom of the bloody hill. And it didn't come up the hill. So I had to walk right the way up the hill with my heavy school bags from the school bus, and just like, it was that kind of situation with high school. You had design technology, which you needed a great big A4 folder for, and then like PE, which you needed like all your PE kit and your trainers and everything else all in one day, and it was just too much. And it was all backpacks and stuff then, but you didn't wear your backpack on two shoulders. That's nobody ever did. That would be a surefire way to get you bullied. I was already being bullied. I didn't want to be bullied for sticking my bag on both shoulders on my back just to protect my back. And to be fair, I didn't see the issue with just wearing it on one shoulder. I do now. And I would always advise you to put your backpack on two shoulders. I was diagnosed with idiopathic scoliosis, which was basically no known cause. They said it's not genetic. They said that it's not anything to do with the school bags being heavy and walking one-sided as you're growing up. They say this. I don't believe they said that to me then. I don't believe that that's true. I believe that in that young age where you're just growing and learning, you're growing your back, and your bones are not as strong as they are when you're an adult. You're still growing, So if you're walking around with all that heavy backpack on one shoulder, and you're basically like that, trying to keep your bag up, and that's how you spend your life, walking around with your backpack on your shoulder between lessons, up and down the hills to school and from home and to the bus stop, and it's not something. It's not a way you should be. You should be walking around with all that stuff. It's not right, because I feel that being in that position so long as you're growing can definitely have an effect on your back and your spine. And they don't realise that. And I know that may be a controversial opinion, but that is what I believe, that my school bag and being in the position I was all that time contributed to my back. I also believe that maybe there's a genetic component that helped to cause that situation in me in the first place. I was obviously more prone to it than other people, because if I wasn't, then half the school would have ended up with it, and they didn't. You know, it was me. That was it. As far as I know, it was just me. You know, and I know for a fact it was just me in the entire year. In my entire year in high school, it was just me out of the whole year. You know. And I was 12 when my mum found out. I didn't know that the pain I was getting was to do with my back, my spine twisting and curving. It went in an S shape, and it was twisting and curving at the same time. It was curving behind my right shoulder blade, round and that way at the bottom, and it went, let's say, through the whole spine basically. And I was 12, and I remember as I was growing up, I was always I was scared of my body. I was scared of it changing. I didn't want to see people to see that I was growing and developing into a woman. So I used to wear cardigans and stuff all the time. Cardigans, baggy jumpers, just to hide, and under vest tops underneath. I still wear vest tops and cardigans, but at that time I used to wear them as a protection. I used to wear the cardigans and stuff as a protection, no matter what the weather, to hide the fact that I was growing into a woman. I was embarrassed about it. And this one day I went in this tight vest top without my cardigan on, and I stood there in Mum's bedroom, and I remember standing there in front of wardrobes, and I think she had mirrored wardrobes then, with mirrored fronts, and I was standing there in this mirror in this front of this wardrobe or whatever, and I was standing there, and she said, Sarah, stand up straight. And I was like, I am, Mum. And she says, no, you're not, stand up straight. And I was standing up straight as my body would allow. But my shoulders curved like that. That's how it looked then. And I bent down. And I have got pictures on my page, on my Facebook page, about this. But I might edit this video. Actually, I'm going to edit this video and stick the picture in a bit, so you'll see. But I see what it's like now. But I bent down, and you can see the hump in my back. And you can see the way that my back curved and changed. That when I bent down, it wasn't straight. And she saw that, and she went to the hospital, to the doctors. They're back and forward for appointments, like I've already mentioned, and I was diagnosed with it. It took from 12 years old when I was first diagnosed to when I was 15 years old. I was 15 years old when I had my operation. 4 years of hospital appointments, 4 years of after my initial diagnosis, 4 years of my back curving and my spine getting worse, and until they did something about it. I was told that my spine had curved that quickly that if I didn't have the operation, I would be in a wheelchair or worse by the time I was 30. I don't know why. It's still quite raw, and I don't know why. But this is me being real, and I just want to share what that's like, you know. It's important to be real, you know. This is real. So I had my operation, and I had mentioned that I died 3 times. I come out of it. I went in with friends. I went in at the operation knowing I had at least a few friends at school. At least 2 friends I had at school, and I knew when I did finally go back to school, although in hindsight I know I shouldn't have done. By the time I did go back to school, I had no friends, you know. Oh, door. So you will have seen that picture now. I've had to go around to the door anyway, so you will have seen that picture of how my back was curved. That is what you want to look for. If you're looking for scoliosis, do that bend test. That is the most accurate way of seeing if your spine is curving and twisting the way it shouldn't. It may not be as drastic as mine, and it may be worse, and it may be curved the other way, not my right shoulder, but it might be your left shoulder instead. It may not be shoulders at all. It may just be at the bottom of your back. It may just be at the top of the back. You don't have to be a girl. It can happen to boys, but it does happen to girls more than boys. But yeah, so where was I? I had my operation. I tried to go back to school after having a good time off. It was at the moment in time, and I'd come out of hospital, and after like 4 weeks, I ended up in the first time having my lungs filling with fluid, and my lungs filled with fluid, and I couldn't breathe. And I remember lying in hospital, knowing I couldn't breathe, and knowing I was supposed to be sleeping because it was night time, and the pain, and I couldn't breathe, and I was scared, and I remember crying all night and trying to get the nurses to say, you know, there's something wrong, I can't breathe. It took them hours until the doctor came out to see me, to realise that my lungs were filling up with fluid, and I needed to get into another operation to drain the fluid. So, and I was also in, sorry, this might be a bit graphic, so if you don't want to watch this bit, skip about a minute. But I was lying, my back, the spine, top of my skull burst open, and I was left like that. I was left with the top of my spine, like the skull, wide open. You could literally, well, I couldn't, but you could literally see inside. The bed was covered in blood. I was lying in all that blood with my back, top of my back open for days. They did keep changing the bedding, but I was still left with it open and not dealt with. I was still left with the top of my spine open to the bugs and the nasties and stuff that still happen in hospitals, you know? Okay, that's it. That graphic bit's gone. I apologise, but that needed to be said. And I think that contributed to what led to 2 years of infection in my spine. 2 years, 1 year. It was about a year I was in infections in my spine. I kept getting abscesses on my back and all that jazz. I was on strong painkillers. I was on strong antibiotics. They weren't working. They gave me an option. It was about a year later, and they gave me an option. Either to have the metalwork removed, that my body was rejecting the metalwork. That's what the infection was for. That's what they said. Or to go in and clean it up and then leave the metalwork behind. I chose to have the metalwork removed. At that point, my spine was perfectly straight. With the metalwork in, they fixed it so good that the spine was perfectly straight. So in that sense, it was a success. But in another sense, it wasn't a success, and there is no way that I could describe my experience with my scoliosis operation as being a success. I can't. Because they took my metalwork out of my back. And maybe I should have left it in. But I was 16 at the time, being a 16-year-old teenager that has missed out on a lot of teenage years and normal teenage stuff that teenagers go up to, that I just wanted to stop going to the hospital. I just wanted to be normal. And I'd never felt normal, not since I started high school. Not since before I started high school. I was always made to feel abnormal whilst I was at school. Of course. This was just the icing on the cake, you know? It just sort of solidified the fact that I was abnormal, that there was something wrong with me, that I was dirty and disgusting and ugly, and that's how I felt, and it just made me feel like that were even worse, you know? So that all them infections and stuff like that, it basically led me right through the last 2 years of high school. It led me through all of that, being at home and studying on my own, which is why I mentioned in my last video that it was part 2 of my story. You'll find that information. You'll be able to search for it in the search bar or whatever, I'm sure. That's what led me through that. After my spine back was removed, I did another cast again. I spent a good 2 years in a full body cast. Like, one of those years was like the hottest summers, and I was in this full body cast, sweating my tits off because I had to wear this cast in this heat and the heat outside, and it absolutely killed me. But it had to be done. But my spine still curved again. It went from being straight as a normal spine could be, you know, to curving again. And over the years it's curved. And as you can see, that picture that you've seen was taken about a year ago. Maybe 2 years ago. But that is how my spine looks at the minute. It's curving. It's still curving. I have no doubt that it's going to continue slowly curving. When they say that If you have the metal work removed, it'll be fine. There's been no issues. Your spine won't curve again. You'll be safe. It'll all be fine. They don't know that. They don't know it's going to be fine. They cannot tell you your back is not going to curve again. I was told that if I had the metal work removed, that my spine won't curve. Though it'll stay straight, it'll be fine. It won't curve again. You've seen Exhibit A. It curved. It's caused me pain all through these years. Pain that if I hadn't gone through all that, if I wasn't in the pain I am now, I probably wouldn't be sitting here talking to you, trying to help all you wonderful people out there with invisible illnesses, chronic pain. I wouldn't have known that that was my purpose, to help. So, to me it was worth it. To me, it's worth it because I can help you guys. That is why it's worth it. That is. So if you're going through a time as well where you're trying to get painkillers or whatever for your scoliosis, and the doctors are saying scoliosis doesn't cause pain, they are lying. They have no idea. They don't know because they haven't gone through it, because they are just going through what the textbooks say, what they've been taught, what all the studying they've been doing. They're going through they're acting on the theory, not on the reality. The reality is scoliosis does and can cause pain for a lot of people. Not for everybody, but it can and does. And if you need somebody to talk to about all this, if you're struggling and you just need some support, I am here. Just know that I'm here and I know what you're going through. But it'll all be right. It will all be alright in the end, you know? It will be alright in the end. Because if it's not alright, it's not the end, right? So I'm going to go. I'm going to put this video together for you. I'm going to post it up. And I'm going to wash my face and clean myself up. And I hope you have the most amazing day. And I hope this has really helped somebody. Bye.